connect when I reset everything up. I've clicked the button that says the channel, and so it wouldn't go anywhere.
Gotcha.
So it's live now. If I go back to
Okay.
the channel, well, there you go. That's where you delete them. I'll delete that one. Yes, I understand. I'm deleting it forever.
Oh, I see. It's been removed. Got that.
So give it a few seconds to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try this again, shall we? Yeah, your channel's live now. Okay, cool. So I don't have. You like my old man and my?
I know the channel picture.
Yeah. Forward to Tom. I got 2 Toms in my list, and one's a board member on my condo association that hates my guts, so I don't want to send it to him.
Don't send it to him. Oh, now I got the mission control view of you over there.
Oh yeah. We ran out of time, so. But such is life. Live, do it live. Isn't that what Aaron Parecki always says?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's get this live stream going, shall we? And we'll start here. Very excited about this special live stream. My friend Tom Buck has joined me, and he has personal use of the RodecasterVideo and pretty much everything from Rode. He's a walking Mr. Rodecaster, in my opinion. But he knows a lot about technology. The thing I appreciate most about Tom is that he's a teacher. I'm not. I can come fix a problem, no problem. But explaining to somebody like over the phone or over a video how to do something, not my skill set. It is his. Got a master's degree in education, and he was a teacher, and including teacher of the year. And so he's very good at teaching. And I get really frustrated at him when he wastes his time reviewing cheap mics instead of teaching people how to do stuff. But, you can ask that question and maybe we can beat up on him. So without further ado, let me introduce my friend Tom Buck.
There you are. Yeah. Wow. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate that warm response.
So the topic of the day, as soon as I get my notes back up we had 2 failed attempts at getting this stream started. One was operator.
Third time's a charm. It's okay.
Error. So anyway, such is life. The main topic is the new RodecasterVideo. As I said, I'm underwhelmed by it. And the reason I'm underwhelmed by it is video stuff is lacking, in my opinion. Now, its audio is better than any system out there. There is no...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've used the Constellation 8K. It just has XLR inputs because it's assuming a soundboard's coming to it. So there is no video switcher that has anywhere close. I mean, it's not in the same ballpark. It's like my and your basketball skills up against Michael Jordan in his prime. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Slaughter. So I got the wrong setup on this, and I'm going to get off that in a second and fix it while you're talking. So
okay.
Talk about your trip to New York and first time playing with it in front of a crowd.
Sure. Yeah. So the RodecasterVideo, which I actually have a little overhead shot of right here. So that's what I'm using. That's what I got. I first saw this many, many months ago and got a cool demo overview with some data firmware. And I was very, very excited about it because I've been an ATEM user. I've got my ATEM Mini right here. Been an ATEM user for a long time. Also been a YoloBox user for a long time. And the RodecasterVideo to me seemed like this thing that was almost in the middle of those in a way. And it's super interesting because Rode's never done anything like that. And so they knew that it was very important that it does everything it said it's going to do very well. The reliability was kind of their main thing, which is why they wanted to wait to release it until it or announce it until it they could guarantee it does everything it says it's going to do very, very well. And so they launched it at B&H. So it's currently only available at B&H. And then it will come to other places later. And they invited me to go to New York last week to be part of that launch, which is cool. We got to do a panel with Ryan from Rode. Is one of my, like, I don't get starstruck for celebrities, but I will get starstruck for Ryan from Rode. And you get to talk about it, use it, and then hang out in the store and just sort of nerd out about it with, you know, customers and people who are curious. And I kind of just eavesdropped on Ryan talking to people about it because he was just giving basically like workshop after workshop to anyone who wanted one. And I learned a lot more just from him than I even knew. Because I've had mine for just a little over a month now. And but it does a lot. Like it's a small little thing, but poof, there's a lot in there. And I'm really excited about it, but I also understand I don't think it's for everybody, for sure.
So let's just leave the audio aside because it's basically a Rodecaster Pro II or Duo inside the device. Except you have to use Rode Central and a computer to do all the settings. There's no physical slider knobs and that kind of stuff. We put the picture up already, and so you know it doesn't have all that information. I mean, all those slides like you have on a Rodecaster to move around.
Yeah, so you can use the little multifunction knob to kind of go around and change it, but if you want the full, like, all that stuff, then you have to go to Rode Central.
Yeah. So in that regard, my theory is still that you're better off with a separate switcher and a separate Rodecaster like I'm doing, though I'm using the Ultra, which has a lot of great tools, except the software can be not the most reliable. And
they do a lot of software updates, and you know sometimes bugs get through, but yeah, it's sort of like a different approach to where Rode is like, we'll take extra time and delay it to make it reliable. YOLO's kind of like, we're going to do everything. If we have to fix it on the fly, we will, but we're just going to throw everything out there we possibly can. It's definitely two different approaches.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got the Ultra, I mean, on paper, it's the best device that there is. On paper. In real life, using it, I've not had too many, other than my basic live stream, it's just me. I've not had an issue of some sorts. Like this one, getting things, you know, we didn't have, I'm right out of USB ports.
Yeah.
Okay. One's for power. One's currently running my Rodecaster, which I normally would have an external monitor with a bigger screen because it works better that way. And then the Pocket 3, which is my favorite camera to use because it tracks me. When I move over here and I move over here, it just stays with me.
It looks good. I want one so bad.
And then, so that's USB. And luckily it works because I hear both mixed messages. I saw somebody using a Pocket 3 on a Rode on one channel. Aaron couldn't make it work on his channel. And Rode says it shouldn't work really because it's a different type of web camera. So, but somebody
their webcam stuff is a little strange.
So
but
you know, it's DJI's webcam is a little bit deal, but I expect they'll get that working because Ultra it didn't work on the Ultra at first, but they got that working even before I got mine. And the last thing, I got the Yolo deck, hoping I could use it for switching, but it's still got a ways to go because all it says is source 1, source 2, source 3. It doesn't tell you what you're switching to, and it requires you have to go in, set it, come back out to see if you set it right. It takes literally 15 minutes to set up, and that's my problem. I actually on the one thing Rode has, I mean the one that Ultra has going for it, they have a really active Facebook group. I had to put a checklist up, like a pilot. I flew on a private plane with a friend of mine, and I was his co-pilot. I was, reading the checklist and while he's doing everything. I go, I need to do this for my Ultra. So I came back home that day and created it, and I put it up and shared it for the rest of the crew. And they go, yeah, you need, because you can't save settings. So
right.
I'm thinking the Ultra is great. It's still got some growing to do. And I'm hoping the stream doesn't come out for a few more months, because once it comes out, the I expect the Ultra updates will go way down because there'll be so
Yeah,
many
hopefully. I don't.
streams.
The extreme though seems like it might also be extremely pricey. So maybe I'm wondering if they're going to keep them as two separate products, or
Oh, they're definitely going to be
if
two
it's going to
separate
overtake
products.
the
I
Ultra.
already talked to them about
Yeah.
that, but they haven't hinted a price. We got a poll going amongst a few of us, but it's everything from 2,000 to almost 3,000. But it's going to be at least
Yeah,
3,000.
I could see.
So
I think so too. Yeah.
Um, so I've got this thing I told you about earlier. I don't like springing things, and there we go. The pros and cons of the
Mm-hmm.
of the of the device here. And I got a button somewhere for that. Now, where did that go? And that's what I hate about. Well, we can create one. Great thing I can create it real quick while we're talking. So
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, it's I liked your pros and cons list. It felt pretty fair. Because like I said, I love the Rodecaster video, but I'm not trying to necessarily sell anyone on it. If it fits for some people, it doesn't fit for others. It's a very interesting comparison to the YoloBox. I think that's kind of more because it does so much more than just switching. That's where I think it is a better comparison than something like an ATEM. But it also depends the workflow that someone already has and what gear they have already got.
So this is just an app called, I think, Pros and Cons on iPad that I use for anything. I use this when I was looking for a switcher for myself. I mean, I bought. I think I ended up with the numbers 16 ATM streams for customers. 16 of them. In fact,
Wow.
I told you I had an event last night. They had in the stream, they had the multi-view, but they didn't have access to the control panel. Like I needed to put an image in for it was for a banquet, a fundraising banquet for a nonprofit. You kind of want their logo up on the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have access to it. All they trusted the guy with was the multi-view and the buttons.
The basics.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get in trouble, I guess, that way. But anyway, so let's go through it. As I said, I mean, you could give them 6 out of 5 stars for the audio. That's
for sure. For sure.
And one thing we talked about, when Rode releases a firmware, and it's true for a Blackmagic. I don't have a GoStream, so I don't know. But I know for Blackmagic and for Rode, when they release a firmware, it's really stable.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them 4 out of 5 stars for that. It has tons of USB, but they're all specialized in a sense, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've never had something that has like so many USB options. That's really handy.
So back in the day, I built a computer, and I was always having trouble having USBs, and so I put 2 of those 4-pack cards in the computer I built back in the PC days. So I had plenty of USBs on that computer, but
nice.
And what's the thing with Apple? Though they fixed it with the Studio, they don't put USBs on the front of the, so you have to reach around back and So these, everything's on the back, right? There's no side plugs or anything. Everything's on the back.
Nothing on the side of the front. Everything is just on the back of the device, and you have 5 USBs total, but they do kind of do different things. Not all of them do everything.
But so that's definitely more than most. I mean, the Ultra has 1 USB-C and 2 USB-As. Though I'm cheating, I'm using a hub, and it's working.
Oh, I was wondering about that. So that's cool.
I've got a little bit of Aaron Parecki in me. Well, let's just try it, kind of.
The professor.
4 HDMI inputs but 2 of the USBs can be video, so you can have 6 inputs. So that's pretty darn good. I mean, I don't know anybody uses all 8 of their ATEM on the stream. But use about 5 or 6 usually. So
it's I've tried to use 8 on mine, but it's like I'm being ridiculous and then pulling out an old camcorder that's unnecessary or something just to fill the slot, not because I need it. So, but having the flexibility, better to need it, or better to have it and not need it than need it not have it, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I when you need that, I'm using every port on the Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not. I don't have camera 2 on right now because of I don't need an overhead shot, but I have every port full, all USBs, the Ethernet. Well, I'm not using the terrible mic inputs. I'm coming in
Yeah.
on the road. Hey, I'm a sound guy. What can I say? I can't handle
That's
the
no, that's the way to go for sure.
So, number 5 on my list, which is not to be discounted at all. Rode's a solid company with a proven track record. They're going to be around. The group that owns them, I actually know that's how I get my information. He works in the parent company, so I knew him
Mm-hmm.
from Mackie days way back when. So they're going to be around for a while.
Yeah, they're good people too, who like they really do want to make the best stuff possible. And what I like is whenever I have a question or I wonder why something doesn't work the way I would think or doesn't have a feature or whatever, they give me very reasonable answers. It doesn't sound like marketing mumbo jumbo. It sounds like, you know, they thought about it, they made decisions, and this is why. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I can relate because I'm a nobody versus you, and gotta have a little fun at your expense, Tom. I mean, and for people that don't know, I treat him this way when I'm on his live stream in the comment section. When
It's been, yeah, for years at this point.
yeah, I joined your
So
live
yes.
stream before you hit the 20,000 mark. So I've been around. I've
Yeah,
been with you for a
you've been
long
there
time.
for
And to be quite honest, and you will admit to this, I think I joined your live stream not really necessarily to learn anything, but you get so many questions. I try to help out with the answers because I know a lot.
yeah. Oh, it's so nice.
And you got to Doc Rock does the same thing, and others. Me and Doc both
Yeah.
call you our our son from another mother because we like um,
I love it.
built-in wireless. It can take just like the Rodecaster Pro. It can take 2 of Rode Wireless's newer devices, the
Mhm.
Me or the Pro or the new monitor one, right? Or what's it called? Interviewer.
Yeah, the Interview Pro, the handheld one.
It's got an easy sync builder that they kind of stole from what Ultra does. It kind of works the way the Ultra does. Would you agree? I don't know, they stole
Hmm.
it, but I mean, let's face it, there wouldn't be Androids if it wasn't for them stealing from Apple. So everybody steals from everybody. So 3, I mean, I haven't, of course, used it. That's where I'm going to rely on you. Is about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same as the Ultra building a scene?
Yeah. Obviously the Ultra has the benefit of being a touchscreen, so it's easy to just do everything right there. Whereas the Rodecaster, you can put things together on it, but it feels almost more like working on an ATEM. But if you're using Rode Central on a computer, then it's super easy.
Yeah,
It's almost like building a scene in Ecamm where it's
yeah,
like
and you can put
drag
the
and drop.
exact coordinates, which you can't do in the Ultra. So that's why it gets 3 or 4 stars.
Yeah.
It's an all-in-one, and they may think that's a plus. I think that's a negative, just because in my world I want to keep audio separate from video.
Mm.
But that's
Yeah, I guess that's where it depends. I fully understand that. That's where I guess the individual workflow needs come into play. For someone like me, it's a huge plus because it alleviates so many headaches and frees up USB ports too, which is nice.
So what other pros that I don't have listed would you add to it?
I mean, those are pretty good ones. The quality, like the build quality, is phenomenal. That's something that's hard to communicate through video. It's a sturdy thing. It's incredibly well built. It does have like a fan inside to prevent overheating, and it can get a little bit warm. But I don't think it would ever. I mean, it's essentially like not capable of overheating or anything like that. Um, the ISO recording is good. That's very similar to, like the ATEM ISO models. It doesn't produce an XML file, so you don't have like a project file, but you have all your sources, all your video, all your audio,
Yep.
plus a default file that has all your cuts in
Do you
it.
think that's something that's going to happen in the near future with the firmware?
Yeah, I'm sure that it'll probably be really, really quick, because also I know that's like one of the most requested things. But that's huge, like high quality ISO recording from everything. They have what they have is really good. Like it's super solid. But you can also see just the little things, the little firmware updates. You know, in a way, it's almost like playing catch up to where YOLO is because they've been doing it for years, and so they have a lot of their features are a bit more mature. But like, you know, simple things like being able to just adjust your sources individually. So I know this is sort of the opposite. You asked if more pros, but something that I feel would be an easy update would be if you could go in and like, you know, for example, I have an overhead camera here, but I have to physically mount my camera in the direction I want it because I can't flip the source currently in the Rodecaster video. I can't just do like a 180 flip. And I would love to do that. And so little things like that, I think, will pop up. But the thing is, like, what they did a great job of, and they sometimes, especially in the past, didn't always do a great job of with some of their newer products, is every single thing it says it can do, it does very well. And honestly, I think it probably outperforms in a lot of ways, but they, if anything, they kind of like were conservative with, you know, with some of their explanations. So, and that's a good thing because a couple of things that they told me was this is geared towards a market. Like if it's a market of people who are using ATEMs for events or professional settings, there's no room for error. It's not like, well, it only drops a few frames here or there or something. Like it can't drop any frames. It has to perform. And especially it's their first time entering this market. If it doesn't work well and it's a dud in some way, they're done. You know, like it's not going to be something they're going to get a second chance at. So they wanted to make sure that they absolutely nailed it. And a really cool thing too, is because they just have their own factory in Australia. They really didn't. They kind of didn't just go to like overseas contractors to sort of, you know, you make capture cards, you make this, you make that, slap our logo on it, and we're done. Like they built the platform and the architecture from scratch, which is why they've been working on this thing for years. You know, I first saw it at the beginning of this year, but they have been doing versions of it and working on it for like, I don't know, 3-4 years, I think, at this point. So there's a lot of thought and there's a lot of architecture. And it's something that I think all of that has created a really solid platform to build on, both for improving this and for future products. More complex and simpler versions are things that I could imagine happening in the future.
Okay.
I have no knowledge of, just things I can imagine.
So that's a good transition to the cons. And there's some big caveats to the cons. No web overlays.
Sure.
A huge issue for some people.
Mm-hmm.
No recording packages, though. I think that will be probably the first firmware update. That's pretty easy, I think. Don't ask me, I can't code, but I've talked to a coder and he says that's going to be a pretty easy fix.
I think so too.
No companion macro support. Now, for people like, I mean, you've seen Aaron Parecki's live stream and others. They use companion heavily.
Mm-hmm.
The GoStream got companion just recently. YoloBox can't because it's an Android device, so they released their YOLO deck and it's got a long ways to go. But at least they've shown they've got something. Okay, it's got 15 buttons and they work. They just got to get the software updated. So that's a huge problem. I don't see how you could do much on this device, really, okay, real world, without a monitor and a computer.
Yeah, I mean, you can get by without the computer, but I would say an external display is like, it's essential.
Yeah, well, you can't adjust the audio EQ and all the, I mean, you got this great audio device, you got to be able to adjust that stuff. You can't do that. Can you do that on the device?
You can do the basics they call depth, sparkle, punch, but you can't dive in and do all of the stuff like you can on a Rodecaster. So yeah, that's something you need a computer for.
I'm a sound guy, so if I want to mess with the compression, that's got to be done in Rode Central, right?
Yes, I'm double checking because there is a master compressor that goes over everything. But yeah, that's all Rode Central.
Right.
In the thing, in the thing itself, you've got your depth, sparkle, punch.
Okay, so we're on the basic same page there. No SDI. I think the only winner in this group is the Ghost Stream Duet. It's the only one that gives you both.
I haven't messed with this yet, but I have the Feel World L4, which is a switcher, and it has one SDI input and one SDI output. So I don't know. And I think it's $540, so it's less than both of those. It's an interesting one.
Too, right?
Yeah, because Feel World is typically like a monitor company,
yeah,
so it's like a
okay.
Yeah, and they've been doing that for a long time, so they're trying to dive into the world of switchers. It doesn't really do, it's basically just a switcher. You can do some basic keying and stuff, but it has a giant touchscreen and 4 HDMI inputs. So I'm gonna be playing with that and trying to figure that out a little bit, because it's a really cool take on maybe more of like the basic ATEM approach.
So have you seen the goat yellow deck? Did they send you one?
Yeah, I have one, but I haven't configured it yet.
Yeah, I just put it on the screen. Because it's leading to my next. The one thing you also don't have is NDI.
Mm-hmm.
And I use 2 NDI cameras. I have my overview camera of the studio, so people can see, what's going on at my studio, which is, hello. and then I have it on the camera, which it makes the camera really hot. I've just noticed.
Oh wow!
So that's my next live stream. I'm talking to a photographer. I've got the brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max.
Oh, nice.
And I have a photographer on because it's got the ability now in the photo app to do what you can in the Blackmagic app. Just f-stop and ISO. Trouble is, go ask person on the street what ISO is, and they're gonna look at you like, huh? so
yeah.
But anyway.
I tried teaching it for many years. I've seen that look a lot of times.
They're late to the game, which I think is a huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're playing catch up. There have been. We'll agree on 2 real quickly. The ATEM Mini and the streams. Those were. Well, there've been switchers out for years. I mean, TVs have been switching for years. But affordable switchers until the ATEM Mini came out, they didn't exist.
No.
All in one.
That's why the ATEM, it blew my mind when this thing was released. Right. $300. Right. I couldn't believe it.
Original Rodecaster.
Mm-hmm.
It was all in one. Now, as you well know, I'm used to the 64 channel massive touring boards that give you infinite control. But I bought one of the Rodecasters when I started my podcast because it just did it all well, and it was well into development. I mean, I didn't probably get my money's worth out of it because I bought it pretty late in the game, and then the Rodecaster 2 came out, and I upgraded, and I gave mine to a young guy starting out. All he had to do was pay for shipping, and it took him 2 months to get to raise the $25 for the shipping, but at least he had to pay something. And he's loving it and using it greatly. So late to the game.
Awesome.
Listen, nobody I think needs 4K streaming. I've told YoloLive that their stream's supposed to be able to take 4 channels of 4K and output 4K, which is intense.
Mm-hmm.
There is an exception. I'm helping a buddy doing. You ready for this? It's a live stream with multiple people coming in via sometimes satellite that make computer chips. So they need not 4K, they want 8K. Because you know how detailed that is?
Right. But they need to be like...
That's a rare exception. Okay? For everybody else, heck, when I'm on Curtis Judd's, when we do live streams together, it's 720. Because he uses, what's the service? StreamYard, I think. And he has basic 720 service. And it's plenty fine. So for live streaming, high def is overkill, but it's what you need. But it would be really nice if those ports would accept the 4K input or scale, and they don't. If you don't put in the right the right settings, you get a black screen.
Yes. Yes.
Which is the deal. And then the last thing, I think it's a fair price, but it's still a high price. That's I think a fair.
Yeah, it's not. I do think it's fair. I agree. It's fair, but it is high, and it's the most expensive thing Rode's ever made. So it stands out.
You know, but then again, you're looking both of us because we both have the same mics. You know, you and me talk about mics way too much.
Yeah.
We both have. I mean, I'm using it right now. I'm using my Sennheiser MKH50 for the live stream, which is what?
Okay.
$1,300-1,200 something like that these days.
Yeah, it's a Rodecaster Video.
And I have two of them. I have two 416. I have the complete. I have every mic ever built from
just period. Just every mic ever.
No,
period.
I sold well $100,000 worth of mics when I retired.
Wow.
And I sold some of these, but I had the entire Earthworks collection. I had every Earthworks mic.
Oh.
Now what's hilarious? I can't use an Earthworks Ethos in my office because of the air conditioner and the fact that it's just like I have a Rodecaster. I have pet peeves like everybody else. I can't stand people holding wireless mics. That just sends me off. Buy the $20 little black plastic things from Amazon. Put and hold it like that. But my mic for podcasting is the Rode Procaster or Rode. What's their naming?
The Procaster. That's why I'm using it. I made sure to use this today because I knew this was one of the ones you liked a lot. So I was like, I'm using the Procaster.
To be as good as SM7B at half the price.
It's a great mic,
and it didn't have that stupid wire that I have. Okay, you understand? I'm
no, it doesn't.
And I'm an install guy for a while. You know how many I've had to replace at least 5 of those over the years because I broke the wire.
Oh, you broke it.
Yeah,
I don't know if other people
broke it, and therefore I had to replace it and send it off. Get it repaired.
Oh gosh.
And so that's why I have such a negative view of that mic. Yeah, it's a good mic.
Totally makes sense.
It's not, but it just that stupid wire.
Yeah.
Anyway. But it's funny. If I was buying a 416 and it's not on the schedule, I wouldn't buy a 416 today. I'd buy the DPA 2017, their new one they just came out with.
Oh.
It's
interesting.
A hair cheaper, and I think it's a better mic. I mean, DPAs are great.
I mean, it makes sense.
DPAs are really great.
They're
generally out of my price range. They use them on TV. I mean, in movies. And my world was live audio. So most of my mics, and I helped out the Grand Ole Opry a couple weeks ago, and they've gotten rid of all their SM58s.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, they're using
wild.
The new mic. What's the stupid thing called? I mean, I wish people
the Shure.
What's that new mic? The Telluride.
The Nexodyne.
Nexodyne, yeah, 8. Those they are unbelievable, dynamic. I mean,
yeah, I want to try one out. They seem pretty awesome.
I'd ship it to you if you want it.
I mean, maybe if Shure doesn't want to ship me one, maybe I'll try yours out.
Just text it me and I'll send it off. It's no problem. I've only used it twice since I had it. In fact, I had it. I ordered one and had it sent straight to Curtis Judd to do the review. Then this is hilarious. There's a guy called Audio Buff who's a church sound guy in Oklahoma City. I had him send it to him because he wanted to try it out, and then I got it like a month after I bought it. But I didn't need it I had it for an event. It was running sound for Alison Krauss, but it was in a room that couldn't handle a normal Sennheiser mic that she uses, and so I used that mic.
Oh.
So, and there are
That's
singers,
cool.
and there's the Adele, Alison Krauss people who can just sing. I mean,
yeah,
it's unreal. I was in a studio one
yeah.
time with her. They had 3 separate mics on her trying to get the full range.
Wow.
And we're talking Newmans.
Wow.
We're talking Newmans. They had $15,000 worth
That's
of mics
crazy.
on her.
At that level, I get it.
So anyway, that's kind of my overall take on the and therefore if you look at the score at the bottom, it's a 55%, which who's it for? I would use this. I would use it in certain cases. If you're a company
Hmm.
that is going to take their podcast to video, or you're starting out and you're doing a video podcast with their audio
Hmm.
versus video, was it video follows
Uh,
audio?
Video follows
You
audio,
can have
the auto
a
switching.
tech. You have to have a tech. A guy gets it set up, and then like it'll run itself.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So in that
And that's
regard,
something they're honing into.
in that regard, no question about it. And it's already it's Rode. It's they made broadcast. I mean they made podcasting this the way a standard
Yeah.
easy platform to do it. So I'm not saying I wouldn't use it in most cases, but um, so here are my categories on who's a switcher for. Content creator. I don't know. I mean, if you don't have anything, but I know your story. Oh, side note. Wait,
Yeah.
I gotta go to the. I don't want to switch out. Tom has the longest about me page that I've ever seen on any website in the world. And don't be. I'm impressed. You're an English guy and you
Okay.
write that much. If I had to write that much, it would take a team of editors 2 weeks to spell check and fix all the commas and
It
grammar.
wasn't my intent for it to be that long. It just happened. But that was, like there's a thing that happens on YouTube a lot where people say, like, why should I listen to you? Why should I listen to this guy? And I'm not saying you should, but I figured I'm gonna put all the info here. And if anybody wants to see it, they can read it and then they can decide how they want to factor in my perspective into their stuff, like, and that's why it's there. And I was like, I'll just try to be detailed. And then I think it was like 2 days later, I was like, this is like a book now. Oops.
But I mean, it's you have a great website, and so I'm going to plug it for it. I mean, you didn't ask for any
Oh,
of
thank
this
you.
stuff, but your website is himynameistom.com, right?
That's me.
And because Tom's obvious, Tom Buck's somewhat of a common name, I think. But
That one's already taken.
yeah, I could tell you
By a voiceover artist. So it's actually like, it's not totally unrelated. So it's interesting.
So, but you have a I don't know where it is on that because I don't. Let's pull it up. We'll do this real quick because why it's not on the screen. I have you up here and I'm switching over now. There's your website.
There we go.
You have a great ethics statement. That's why I like you so much too. The gear is what I want to talk to you. Recommended setup. If you're new,
Yep.
getting started, go here. I could pet peeve this, okay, because this is personal preference, right? And we could have
Yeah.
we could talk an hour about this, but it's a very
Oh yeah.
good place to start.
Yeah. It's not the be all end all. It's just a place to start. It gets you at least gets you some options. You could shop for other options, but I wanted to put some recommendations for common setups people try to put together with some of the more unexciting accessories like cables and memory cards included, and try to put together some actual price ranges of what those things would all cost. So that's what that was there for. Yeah, last summer I built a very old school PHP BB message board.
The other thing he teaches, as I said, he's a master teacher, and I don't need to take his course in Final Cut. I know how to run Final Cut, and obviously I know how to run. I've started.
You probably don't need any of the courses. Yeah,
courses. It's not because I don't like you.
It's fine. Totally fine.
But they are, I would expect, excellent because the videos you release where you're teaching are excellent. That's your strength.
Thank you.
Hint, hint. Keep doing those and quit reviewing.
I love those. I love doing that too.
If you can't afford,
I like that too.
If you can't afford $100 pod mic, then save up. But
right. I mean, that is kind of the best advice there.
So, but again, give you a hint. Here's the about page. Who I am, I think it is, right? Okay,
Yeah.
we're scrolling.
It goes.
We're tomorrow.
We're into 2010 right now.
No,
we're into
we're
2011.
still
We're
reading.
going to 2012.
It's now Friday.
Yeah.
It's now Saturday.
Yeah. See you next year.
Yeah. But it's great. I can never put something like that together because I'm not a writer. But
oh well, thank you.
It's brilliant. I almost email you and say, how much would you charge to do mine? Because I have this long checkered history of all the people I've run sound for and stuff, and I'm going,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Even if you did say yes, so never mind.
That's put that all into Chat GPT and have it do it.
So where was that? I got to get to that other button, which is this one. There we go. Hey, that worked decently well. So, but I started out with saying this. Everybody that's in this business, you buy what you're going to, well, exception of me and other people like me. I started this when I retired. I sold $100,000 worth of mics. My total package was like 100. I sold a company. So I'm not going to say how much I sold it for, but I had a little spending money. Okay. The mics alone were $125,000 with all, I mean, I had 16 channels of Shure Axiom. Okay. For $5,000 a pop.
Jeez.
So,
you're doing the Super Bowl over there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had a lot of equipment to sell. Me and you could talk a lot of gear. I mean, I had FX6s. I had the $5,000 tripods. I had some of that.
Oh yeah.
I kept some of it, but yeah. So when I got into this, I just bought the stuff I wanted. But then I quit, and that was just for audio. I didn't have a live stream because I have the face for audio. Okay. And so that's why I'm showing you on the screen, and I don't like seeing myself.
There we go.
I don't like hearing myself, but I do put up with hearing myself. I can't handle. I mean, I'm 65 years old. I've retired. Okay, I got the little. You get old. Things start to wrinkle and turn gray or turn loose.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. So
you're kicking butt. Your studio's awesome.
I won't be around to see it.
Oh, it's happening. I promise it is happening.
Oh, you don't have kids.
You put a lot of Vaseline on this lens.
That's another thing we got to get Tom about. Tom should have kids because he's already got dad jokes down to a science.
That'd be child abuse. Maybe it's too many.
Yeah, you haven't dropped one pun on this whole thing. I mean, that's just rare for you.
I have not in this Rodecaster video. I have not dropped a single pun. Maybe I should be punished for that.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, we'll get back to topic because we got to finish this thing up. New company video with podcast from scratch. This is definitely a contender. The Rodecaster video is definitely a contender. Company expanding their podcast to video. If they don't have a good soundboard already, that's when it becomes a problem. If you have a Rodecaster 2, if you have a Mackie DLZ creator, or you have a good soundboard, then you're overpaying for the Rodecaster, and there's better video switching options. I would say the GoStream would be a better pick because it's so cheap. I mean, the Duet. I mean, I've got a job that if I get it, I'm buying the Duet for because I need 2 SDI and 3 HDMI, and you can set up a macro to switch between the two. So you technically could have 8 channels. As long as you don't do them live, you're fine. And it's only one channel I have to worry about, so I think I'll be fine. Those are categories where it's a really good fit for. But for a content creator or somebody getting started, I mean, $1,200 is you hadn't bought a camera, you hadn't bought a mic.
Overkill for sure.
This is crazy. In fact, so I think you already know this. I work with several. I worked for a church for 7 years. I worked with a lot of Christian ministries, I was with this missionary from Kenya last night at this event, and he was starting a YouTube channel. He's up to 600.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and he's doing it all on an iPhone 15 Pro Max. He says, well, the video's good, but the audio stinks. I said, well, since you're probably going to not stop there, because he has a vision, giving that. He does have, I mean, he's got a doctorate, and so he's a smart guy. In fact, he's finishing up his education here in Dallas before he goes back to Kenya. And he needed audio. I said, I don't know. So people can't say I'm anti-Rode, because I said, well, why not a pair of the Rode Mic 2? That gives you pretty darn good audio for your podcast and frees you up. You don't have to sit behind a mic, and I think it sounds good. And I showed him the price, and he was a little bit in, so I just gave him mine. So, and so I had to order one today before B&H closed at noon for the Jewish holiday. And so I say all that. People getting going. I mean, he saw my setup. I had the flow. What's that? The tripod maker, the big Schlesinger, whatever it's called, Flowtech.
Sattler.
Sattler, that's it. I have still 2 Sattlers, and so
okay.
I only took one camera with me. I took my favorite. The lens never leaves my A7 IV. It's the 35-150 Tamron.
Oh, Tamrons are so good. Oh,
but the 35-150
can't go wrong with
everything
Tamron.
with that lens. And then my A7 IV.
Yeah.
So he's looking at that setup, and he goes, "How much is that?" And I go, "Well, it's got with the cards and everything. It's over $10,000."
Yeah.
And he just goes. He goes, "Look over there," and he kind of joked like he's going to grab it and run out the door. Kind of thing, joking, of course. Going, he can't afford that. No kid coming, unless they're, Bill Gates' kids, are going to be able to afford that kind of setup. So, the iPhone.
Yeah, it's good.
The audio, audio, I haven't tried it enough to tell you if it's any good. But you slap a mic on that, because you can slap a USB mic, and the only, you know me, right? The only USB mic I have, here we go, the switch blue here,
is the Icon,
the Icon Mini. It's the only USB mic I have.
Yeah, an Earthworks USB mic.
Tell me if you've ever heard a bad Earthworks mic.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They're the best.
They're all phenomenal.
They're all phenomenal. In fact, I tell you what you blew. You want to cry? Dude, I think I can make Tom.
Just go for it.
Remember when you had the drum set up
Oh,
in
no.
your office?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see where you're going.
I was going, I'm going to ship Tom my drum mic kit for, and not so.
Yeah.
And then you were having a live stream, and I tuned in. I go, should I tell him this? Because he might not want him, because he's never going to record them. Maybe he wouldn't want to waste them. And then the drum kit was gone.
Right.
I mean, I know you didn't get rid of it. You moved it.
Yeah.
You moved it to another room, but.
Yeah, we just moved it. But I hurt my foot last year, and was just, I couldn't play it for like 6 months, so kind of was taking up space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never
really
use an Earthworks mic on my drum set.
Do me a favor, next time Heather can take a picture, I want you to get a good picture of your smile. Since you're playing hockey, you're not going to have
that. I try to be as safe and protective as possible. I wear double mouth guards, most expensive helmet I can get. I try very hard to be safe.
Yeah, I'm just kidding with you. I think you'll be fine. But it's a. I mean, you know how many pro hockey players have lost their teeth? It's a high number.
Yeah, luckily I play goalie, so I'm
you got
one of the less common positions for that.
Anyway, but starting out, this thing is just too expensive for most everybody. And the trouble
for someone entering, for sure, yeah.
Sales are for it, but if you're already into this and you've got a Rodecaster, to me it's not a good buy, because you're just buying something you already have, basically, for half of it. So
I think it depends. I mean, I think it depends, and that's, if you already got the Rodecaster, it is nice that you can connect it directly to it, and then you can expand. So
Right.
you put a Duo here, now you have a essentially Rodecaster Pro. You put a Pro and a Duo. You can connect two Rodecasters at the same time. So I actually like the modularity. Um, but yeah, if you already have a Duo and you're only ever going to use one or two mics, and you buy this, now you've added some redundancy to your setup, for sure.
And redundancy can be good. Okay, I'm not going to tell you trash it, but anyway.
Yeah, it can.
So
I mean, I love it. Like the fact that I can do multicam stuff, just one thing, and I don't need to worry about anything else. As someone who does everything solo, it really does make my job easier. So I like that. And then the other thing too is, like, if you are just looking for basic switching, or even some like really fundamental, keying or whatever, I do think it's overkill and it's probably too expensive. And there's all those other options that are like more established, cheaper. You might as well just go for those. But the not just the scene building, which is incredibly helpful, but also which we kind of didn't really go into, but the way you can incorporate media, you can do playback, you can do like, it does it really well. I would say significantly better than the way at least I've experienced the Blackmagic app doing it. And that is something that I think, especially once they expand on that, that's where I think this is going to start being really powerful, to be able to like compose complex scenes in a preview window, throw them to program, save them there without having to do any macros, without having to do any workarounds. It's all just kind of like part of the native workflow. That's where, I don't know, that's where maybe one of their benefits of not being a video company comes into play, because they're not necessarily bound by what you would find traditionally. It's a blessing and a curse, because sometimes you're like, why wouldn't it just do the thing that everyone's done forever? But on the other hand, it's like, well, you have this sort of different perspective, this different approach to a workflow that in a lot of ways, it's kind of like once you use it, you go, oh dang, I really like using this. And it's intangible.
the last thing I'll say, Tom, before I let him go, because we're a few minutes over already, is that he's multi-talented. I mean, I have Procreate on my iPad. He has
Mm-hmm.
Procreate on his iPad. Difference is he knows how to use it, and I don't. The man spends an hour building a thumbnail, and they're gorgeous. He's got a tutorial. He will show you how to do it if you're gifted in that direction. I tried to follow all the instructions. And I almost sent it to him as a joke so he could laugh at my expense, because you got to have that talent. Okay, so he knows how to. He's artistic enough to do that. He obviously knows how to.
Or crazy enough to do that.
He's learned audio pretty darn well, I have to say, as a guy that's a pro in that area.
Now that means a lot.
Those guitars on the back are not for show. He knows how to play both guitar and bass and drums.
Yes, that's her.
He's a teacher, master's degree in education, former teacher of the year.
That's me.
So he's not just a pretty face. He's a smart guy.
I now I feel impressed by this person. I don't know who you're talking about.
If we could just get him, and I'll tell you, I'll end with this because it'll crack you up. I'm ultra conservative. I've never liked girls with colored hair, but I like Heather's purple hair.
It's wonderful.
Fits her.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it. You're still doing the couples table
every Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
You quit for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, we took like a 6-month break to just kind of step back, but we've been going since
in the middle of hockey season. You were running out of time, right?
Yeah. I think we've been doing it since early this year, pretty consistently. I don't remember when we started back up again. Maybe even longer than that now. Time flies.
It's somewhere on there how they met and everything. But she's a
Mm-hmm.
content creator, coach, and Heather creates. Is that right?
Heather Just Create.
Yeah, it's Just Create. Heather Just Create.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heather Just Create.
And
yeah.
They do stuff together, and that's nice. Y'all can bounce ideas off each other. I'm sure you do that all the time.
Oh yeah.
My wife had to touch it. She wouldn't know how to touch any of it. My wife is she got a new iPhone. She ready for this? She was on 7 Plus.
Okay, that's an upgrade
She
then.
got a 15. I got her a 15 regular
Okay.
Pro, and you know, because she was complaining about, okay, here, this is my world right now. She's complaining about how bad the pictures were compared to everybody else's of all our grandkids.
Yeah.
You know, I'm up to 7 grandkids.
Oh, I like that. Good job.
In fact, I was babysitting this morning because my daughter had a doctor's appointment. So after I got her off, I came in here and set everything up, and then forgot to press one button right, and the live stream wouldn't work. Had to rebuild everything on the fly, and that's an ultra problem.
Got it done.
You can't save settings on this stupid device, and drives, you know. And if you're in a rush, just forget it.
Would be nice, yeah.
But Tom, thanks for
Heather. I should tell you this. Heather does have a Rodecaster in her office as of yesterday. She got a Rodecaster Duo, and I'm so excited about it. Well, so that's her big upgrade. But yeah, thank you for having me.
How was she doing the audio otherwise? Just straight into the.
For a long time, she was using a Scarlett 2i2,
that's a good device.
And then we're using a Vocaster because it's pretty much just her.
Right.
But then I show up for the stream once a week, so it was like
you bring your own
she didn't
stuff
want a Rodecaster.
You always bring a different mic. I mean, your mic collection.
Yeah, usually I would just take a mic and
your mic collection
plug it in there.
The same as my mic collection. Mine are all really good mics.
Yeah, mine is not $100,000 for sure.
Well, you laugh,
but yeah,
you know, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. We have some of the best studios in the world, and I have walk-in rights at 3 or 4 of them, and even I'm blown away by one of the oldest studios here. Their mic collection, I bet you, is $500,000.
Oh, I believe it. I can't even imagine what it looks like.
The only person that can compete with them is probably Beatles, Abbey Road in London.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
The Abbey Road studio, they have all, you know, some mics the vintage mics. I mean,
yeah. Oh wow.
I have one vintage mic. It's a Newman that I sold because I needed the $17,000 it brought.
Jeez. Oh my god. I think my MKH50 is my most expensive mic, and that's probably by a pretty wide margin too, and that's $1,200. So
I still have 2 channels of Shure Axiom. So
wow.
The receiver, I have 2 mic packs and a handheld, so you can of course use 2 of the 3. That runs into DBX 186, and then for compression, you know, de-essing, and then runs into a 31 channel EQ for the speakers.
Wow.
When I travel with a pass-through bit, you know, I everything in one box. That kit's probably $7,000 to $8,000. But
that's crazy.
If you ever seen a Shure Axiom, they don't fail. They don't have signal problems. They're nothing like a Rode 3.
Yeah.
Or a DJI
2.4 gigahertz.
But I joke. I mean, this Pocket 3 is the best little camera, and you can hook a mic.
Oh, I want one so badly.
Come on, DJI.
Yeah.
Send him one.
Hey, yeah, send me one. It's awesome. That's my next like camera to buy there. It just seems so cool. And I actually really like the DJI mic too as well, even for the sound of the Rode.
I don't have the Rode 3. I have the. I'm gonna pull my ear out. You know this thing?
Oh yeah. The Me.
It's the Rode Me.
Yeah.
That works.
The
It
single
works with the
channel.
Rodecaster, so that's fine. That's all I needed it for.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Have you ever? And this will be the last thing. Have you ever used the Rode app for recording video on your iPhone?
No, I never had. I kind of like tinkered with it when they released it, but I just never. I never did.
It's my favorite because it gives you the split screen. It gives you both cameras.
Yeah.
So my granddaughter comes in and sits in my lap to watch stuff on you know, okay stuff on the computer.
Yeah.
I have a long history with Apple, and I have. You ready for this? My
Yeah.
iTunes library. Take a guess how big it is.
Oh my God. It's, I don't know. Is it what, 6 digits?
Well, it depends. It's 17.5 terabytes.
Oh my God. Okay, I was
No,
thinking
gigabytes.
individual songs.
Gigabytes. Sorry.
Okay,
I have 150
that's
gigabytes on Promise RAID 6.
wow.
You know why I use RAID 6? Because I was a place where the
Why?
RAID 5 failed. 2 drives. You know,
You're the
RAID
case
5,
study.
1 drive failed, and you're okay. I had 2 drives fail and lost
Yeah.
everything. We had a backup anyway. But now I use RAID 6.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
when it
Okay,
fails,
fair
I guess
enough.
I'll go to RAID 10, and you know, anyways. But Tom, thanks for coming. It's been
Thanks for having me,
a
Matt. This
blast.
was really fun.
And he generally releases videos on Thursday morning over on Tom Buck.
Mhm.
Real simple. If you can't figure that one out, I got a button for that one. I think, right?
It's 2 syllables,
Yeah, there we go.
spelled exactly like it sounds.
Well, you know, people say my name's pretty simple, Matt Ruff, but I don't stream from Matt Ruff. I
Yeah.
stream from the Senior Tech without an H because somebody already had the Senior Tech for some reason. So I haven't checked it out, but I have a website, theseniortech.com.
Yeah.
Pure HTML. Okay, I hate monthly
Yes,
fees.
I love it.
I hate monthly fees, so I don't
Yep.
do any. That's why I got the Ultra. I can have a guest on without having to have a service.
Yeah.
So,
But your website, I bet it works all the time and never has downtime.
yeah, because I actually own the server, and I still don't have much. I was
Yep.
an IT guy, so I used to have all my
Yeah.
certifications, and so now it just keeps me so
How
I know
cool.
how to do something. So I'm gonna
That's
have
awesome.
an outgoing video, and then we'll be out of here. That button. And,
Cool.
and of course the sound's not on.